Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for West Valley Hot Topics. Today, our topic is tourism attraction while you are here. And it's very appropriate because we had a lot of people here last week. Last week and through the weekend, and tourism was certainly on the mind of everyone, and Super Bowl has brought so much in, and I think really taking us to that next level. And I'd like to introduce our speakers this morning. So we have Bridget Binsbacher, Cactus League Executive Director, Grant Fisher, Via Resort President and CEO, Kathy Connect, the Vista Center Executive Director, amongst many hats, and Tony Singh, the Mangat Group CEO. So thank you for joining us this morning. We have to start off with the Super Bowl a little bit, I feel like. I think what you did, so how many of you had an opportunity to be there or be close to it?
Yeah, the energy was astounding, and it was so awesome to be in the city of Glendale. The energy is there, and you can just see the difference within a few years of last Super Bowl to this year. It's awesome.
Day, yeah.
Correct.
I love what you guys did with the drone show. It's like, we're not open, but we're here.
Yes.
So that was really cool.
No, it was a great launch pad for the resort, and really just kind of getting our name out there, and just super excited.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So I just have some numbers because I love my numbers. So $24.2 billion was the contribution of sports and tourism that came into the state 2022. $13.7 billion from direct sales by Arizona hotels, casinos, sports, and other professional performances and venues that came in last year. And then 347,500 people are directly employed by Arizona sports and tourism sector. So that's pretty big. It's 11% of our workforce. And so that's a pretty big number. And with a projection to grow over 3% over the next decade. So that's pretty good. I think with some of the things that we have going on, I'm gonna predict that we're gonna exceed 3%.
Mm-hmm. Me too.
So one of the reasons also, in addition to Super Bowl, that we thought that we should have this discussion be this morning is one of the things that we are launching this year at Westmark and with the West Valley communities is a While You're Here program. I was calling it a campaign, but the reality is it's a program. And it came to my mind because of Super Bowl, obviously, but I started thinking about all the different events that we have constantly going on in the West Valley, from spring training and the state, quite honestly, from spring training, bringing in a lot of visitors to the region. Then we have the national championship race. It just goes on. And with the Via Resort, what you're going to be doing is going to really be year-round activity. And so field hockey, Vista for the arts, the arts and entertainment centers bringing in shows all year round. So really, this is just not a specific period. It used to be 30 days of, Arizona's on fire, and it's so much more these days. So what we're launching and working with the marketing committee at Westmark is a While You Are Here program. And that is identifying all of the different things to do. So I may be coming in for spring training, but there's so much more that I can do. And my husband may be the one that wants to go to the games, my husband and kids, but I might want to go shopping. I might want to take in a play. I might want to hang out by the pool. I might want to, play pickleball or do something that's different than what the rest of my family wants to do. And so it's giving folks those options. So While You Are Here, we'll start off as an inventory of all the cool things to do on a website, but eventually our goal is to move that to an app very quickly. What makes it different than maybe some of what we've been seeing traditionally is, in addition to having, the books and all that stuff and the brochures, we also plan on having this on the billboards, because again, people are moving from place to place to place. And if all of a sudden they see something quickly and they can go on that app, they see a whole bunch more that they can do. So that's our goal. And you're all here today.
Great. That's goal.
So and be part of it. So Bridget, you're getting ready for spring training. What's going on with spring training? What's different? How has it maybe picked up throughout the last year, and what are you expecting this year?
Well, it's exciting because, obviously you mentioned we had the Super Bowl, we've had so much activity surrounding sports. And so now our focus is spring training. And this is the first normal season in 4 years. So when I actually came on, I've been with the Cactus League for many years, but when I came on as an employee, the first ever employee of the Cactus League, we were hit with a pandemic and the season was canceled. It was historical. And so we had to really kind of work together in a different way than we ever anticipated. So what I think fans are really going to notice is that they're coming into our facilities with no restrictions, no reduced capacity, no social distancing. And we were fortunate because all of our facilities are outside, our games are outside. And so that gave us a lot of flexibility during those challenging times. But then last year we had a lockout with Major League Baseball. And so the player negotiations and all of that sort of moved the season and opening day. And so that was out of our control. And so all of those things had a direct impact on what we typically generate as an industry. And so we have historically contributed about 644 million in direct impact a season. And so basically we lost about half of those seasons, whether it was capacity or time, and that is reflected in the numbers. And we show that we lost about half of that financial impact. And so it's something when we look at tourism, the Cactus League, and we're proud to be truly, an economic engine in the state of Arizona and a driver of tourism, like any mega event. I think the thing is that it happens year after year after year. And so locally, we tend to take it for granted, but we don't want to take the industry, not just the Cactus League in sports, but tourism for granted because of what it does generate for our economy, the jobs it creates, and all of the other things that go along with the spring training season as far as community impact, creating jobs. How long do we have? There's so much to share.
Yeah. And one of the things I did an interview with, I think it was the Republic prior to Super Bowl. And one of the last questions was, what do you see moving forward? How is the Super Bowl going to impact the West Valley and Arizona in the future? And I kind of harken back to 30 years ago, the development of Scottsdale, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had all of these CEOs and executives coming for golf and the weather and all that. And hey, wait a minute, this is kind of cool. And they located their businesses here. So again, with the growth of the West Valley, the action, all the things that's happening along the Loop 101 specifically, but other areas too, around all the other stadiums, I think the Super Bowl bringing all those folks to the area, the natural disasters that happened over the last several years in other parts of the country. I think everyone's getting a little bit older and tired of the cold, and looking for different opportunities to be in this warmth and sunshine. And let me correct myself. We always thought that as you get older, the retirement community comes to Arizona. We launched a program last year called West Valley Emerging Leaders. And at the end of the year, we had a hot topic series with them. And so they were all under 40. And two of them were from out of state, moved to Arizona. One was from Arizona, born and raised. The two that were from out of state said they moved to Arizona because of the weather. So it was kind of interesting to hear that different dynamic of young people. So again, when we think about who's coming and who's visiting, it's a variety of ages, it's a variety of professions, and it's an opportunity that we have in the West Valley now to really grow our economic future.
We're seeing that in our numbers too, when we do our economic impact studies and the surveys we did. In 2018, we surveyed 4,000 fans, and we're seeing a more balanced
Age group.
Yes,
Yeah.
age group and families coming and, spring break travelers, and it's very widespread. Also, I'm not sure where we are on the slides, but where you're looking, yes, that is the map of all 10 facilities. So we have 10 facilities, 15 teams in Arizona. And a lot of folks don't realize there's only two places in the country that this happens. Arizona and Florida. And in Arizona, we do it better. I think we do it better because of the proximity of our facilities. And so you can get from one facility to the other within an hour at any point in time. And so it's great for the teams and their player development, but it's also great for fans because they can get to multiple facilities in a day and see a day game and a night game. They're also evenly distributed across the valley. And probably in the West Valley, I think you see more two-team facilities. Those facilities are newer. Peoria was the first to model to have a two-team facility in the in spring training, actually, it was the first between the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. And now you're seeing that model in some of the newer facilities that have been built in the West Valley. And the distribution of impact, I think, is more evenly distributed. It used to be a heavy concentration in the East Valley. And, a lot of it depends on the teams and social life and nightlife and all of that, but you're seeing it widespread. And we know because of people traveling to Arizona, their spring training is the reason they come, but we know from our survey that they're staying for multiple days and they're visiting other parts of Arizona. So they're falling in love with Arizona and coming from all over the country and all over the world. And it's amazing. It's interesting.
And one of the other things too, I want to hit on before you talk about the numbers is the proximity of our facilities. And that's huge from a fan perspective. I used to go to Florida. I'm a Mets fan. And I used to go to Florida for spring training. And it's all over the state, and you really can't, you have to challenge just a couple of games where you want to see your team and they're right in that area. Whereas, like you said, this you can get anywhere in an hour and anyone can do that.
Yeah.
So.
And it's just, it definitely affects the impact. So this is after, obviously we just had a Super Bowl, so we're going to hear about the impact,
Yep.
Soon, I'm sure. 2023 will be the season that we once again do an economic impact study. So we too will have new numbers. So stay tuned for that. We'll be sharing. But what this shows is all of the mega sporting events basically in Arizona. And so, and again, the Super Bowl is what it is, and they're probably going to pass the $1 billion mark. The Cactus League is at 644 million. And I think the big thing that I have to stress is that, Phoenix Raceway and Waste Management Open, these are annual impacts. This happens year after year with the Cactus League. And, nearly 2 million people, which we're hoping to pass that mark. But in a normal environment, we've got about 1.8 million fans coming through our gates to all 10 facilities every season. 6 out of 10 are coming from somewhere else. And 60 to 70% are coming for spring training. And about 30% are visiting other parts of Arizona, from the southern part of Arizona to the northern part of Arizona.
And these numbers are from what year?
Approximately 2018 is when all of this was compiled.
Okay.
Yeah, so we're going to be seeing some, and then, again, we were doing the full study in 2020 when the season came to an abrupt halt on March 12th.
Gotcha.
We still did it.
So
And here's the result of that.
And so then also the Phoenix Raceway numbers, that's also before the championship race. So that's going to see a big spike.
Definitely.
Grant's getting really excited because he's seeing like all this potential.
No, West Valley's booming. It's awesome. I think we're all here at the perfect time, and I just see it. You keep alluding to a lot of just the infrastructure that Arizona's built throughout the decades. And with the 101 connecting from Scottsdale to where we're located right now, it's a 30-minute drive. It's no other state can offer that. So it's a really unique opportunity us for.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Was there another slide that we just had up there?
We did a comparison. We were looking at what the 2018
gotcha.
results were. So you can see the percentage of season we lost, basically.
Yes,
the percentage of impact we lost, as I'd mentioned. We create in a normal environment, over 6,400 jobs as a result of spring training.
Yeah. I mean, clearly to see where we were and what happened during that time frame, and now looking at the population that's come in and how we've grown as a state and a region. So that'll be interesting to see your new numbers.
Yeah.
Bridget, before we talk about the Vi Resort, couple things about Cactus Lake facilities. So, there used to be the perception, and maybe there still is at times, these facilities are only used 30 days out of the year.
Mhm.
That's clearly not the case, right?
It's not the case. And when we do our economic impact study, we will do the spring training impact, but we will do the non-spring training impact because, we were just talking about sports and what it means to people's lives, and so there are all kinds from minor league, instructional league, youth leagues, club organizations coming in, thousands of games played on these fields, and events, community events, signature events that are happening and bringing influx of travelers into our cities and surrounding cities. So it's meaningful, and we'll be doing that in 2023 as well. So.
Last year, we had our Westmark Board of Directors annual meeting in Peoria at the Peoria Sports Complex. This afternoon, we're having that same meeting for this year, and it's going to be at the American Family Fields in Phoenix, where the Brewers play. So to your point, we're definitely using these facilities for different purposes. And the West Valley Mavericks, they also use or have used consistently in the past the Goodyear ballpark for their big Roundup Truck Festival. So definitely bringing a lot of people to these facilities, regardless of, that 30-day period.
Definitely, they're assets in their community, for sure.
Grant, I'm excited about, I mean, everyone is excited about your big asset that's coming up. I was at the gym yesterday and someone asked me about, did you have anything to do with the Vi Resort? And I said, I would love to say I did, but I didn't. However, you should tune in today and find out more. So
There you go. Yeah, so I'll give a quick, if you want to pull up the image, just a quick little description of what we're bringing to the West Valley. So we will be Arizona's largest resort at over 1,100 hotel rooms between 4 towers. And really the brand of Vi Resort is fun luxury. We're offering 5-star aspects of hospitality, but with a fun twist to it. That can be seen in the top building displayed in this rendering is our Muse Hotel. It's basically the first ever co-hotel, co-auditorium. So right now we're building a 10,000 person concert arena, and we're planning on hosting over 100 concerts a year within that facility. And what makes that really unique is from your own hotel balcony is basically your private box suite to watch the artist perform on stage. But the nice thing, that in itself is very innovative, has a lot of attraction. But Vi doesn't stop there. The party doesn't stop after the concert encore because we offer so many other things. When that comes to our 5-acre swimming oasis, our 50,000 square foot party island, 80,000 square feet of retail, as well as 12 restaurant and culinary concepts. Many of which are going to be the first to ever hit Arizona. They're popular brands and chefs in LA, New York, Miami, and we're kind of having their first kind of grand opening in Arizona. So really excited to kind of start doing those releases to the public. But super excited. And again, just with the economic growth in Arizona alone, really being at the forefront or hitting this at the perfect timing to build something like Vi Resort to really put Arizona on an international destination list.
So one of the things I'm really excited about is that you're 26 years old and you're
27 now.
You're 27. Happy birthday. Yay, happy birthday. Is that, you're heading this up because I think Arizona has had a reputation for a number of years as being the retirement state, right? And that has drastically changed. But you've used the word, every time you talk about this project, you use the words fun. And I think that's really what we know residents want. Our median age in the West Valley is 34.8 years old. That's younger, and I don't ever really compare the East and the West Valleys, but that's younger than the East Valley. And why it's remarkable to me is because the East Valley number is a little bit higher. It's 36, and that's inclusive of the ASU Tempe campus. So that's pretty significant when you look at that, having a huge college, and then also looking at the West Valley population. And for years, West Valley residents have been saying, we want the fun stuff. We want more. We don't want to drive. We don't want to go across town. And I think with the pandemic, personally, when I-10 was Loop 202 was under construction, and I-10 had closures every other weekend, I just started really zeroing in on everything west of the construction. I didn't want to get on the freeway. But I noticed that with the pandemic, people are much more, I'm not going to use the word insulated. It's insulated, but it's in a positive way. They really want to do things within their community. They really don't want to go much outside of that. So to have this project be in our downtown, in the West Valley's downtown Westgate area is pretty tremendous. And
it's awesome. And Glendale's really kind of proven to be the entertainment district of Arizona. And I really think by creating this resort really just emphasizes that we're starting to get attraction from groups who've never even considered Arizona to come to. So really, I'm excited to start hosting it. And again, putting Arizona on a map. I moved here in '98. I went to Brophy College Prep, graduated in 14, and then ASU. So I understand what Arizona can offer and the potential that VI can basically put that on the international map.
So I think everyone here is here to help support that.
Oh,
Right.
100%. And again, just briefly speaking with the panel, there's more to come in the West Valley. There's a lot of NDAs being signed on just other developments coming up out of the ground. So really, really excited for the city of Glendale and the West Valley of Phoenix.
Absolutely. I'm sure Tony's really excited too, because he's along that corridor. But I'm gonna have Kathy talk a little bit about the other pieces. Why else? I mean, people think of Arizona a lot in terms of sports, right? That's, I think, our big tourism niche, sports and golf and all that. But you represent arts community.
The arts community, exactly. And I'm so excited about your project because you build it and they will come, right? And that's what we want, is we want people to come to the West Valley. I'm one of those people that Cintra talked about. I always complain, why do I have to drive east to see a good show? Why do I have to drive east to have a good restaurant? But with this project that you're talking about, Cintra, really highlighting all the opportunities that are here, people to come stay, to come do sports, creates a kind of synergy where we can shine the light on all the different opportunities that we have. And it's really so important. I'm representing the Vista Center for the Arts in Surprise, and we're really only starting our third full season. You can see it there. It has 1,300 seats. When we first started, actually the building's been there for more than a decade. It's adjacent to the Valley Vista High School, but it was designed to be an asset for the entire region to bring in professional acts and artists to serve the entire West Valley. That's the interior. 1,300 seats, unique and opportunity here. We also have a theater that is 200 seats. So if you bring in a smaller act, these are some of the well-known groups that have come in the past. Maybe you recognize them: Ambrosia, Jim Brewer, Madagascar. And we bring something for everybody, different price points, different cultural performances, classical music, comedy acts, all kinds of things. And it's really, really important that we are offering that right here in the West Valley. And it's a draw for the local economy. You know, in 2017, the West Valley Arts Council worked with the Americans for the Arts, and they did an economic impact study on what do arts and culture bring to the West Valley as a region. And they came up with a number about 23 million. Well, the arts and culture community has grown in the West Valley since then. We are expecting much higher participation, and we're expecting that number, when it's evaluated next year, is going to be much higher. Because when people come to see a show at the Vista, they're going out to dinner ahead of time. And maybe they're buying a new outfit. And maybe they're going out to dinner at one of your restaurants there, right? If they're coming in from out of town and they want to spend 2 or 3 days, maybe they catch a couple of baseball games and they also see a show at the Vista. And, I like to promote arts and culture throughout the West Valley. The Vista, yes, but there's so many other opportunities. Arizona Broadway Theater, there's Theater Works in Peoria. And each one of these municipalities has their own arts and culture programming within. It is very rich and accessible to everybody. So I'm just really excited about being a part of this infrastructure of arts and culture in the West Valley, and being able to cultivate these kinds of relationships so we can tap into each other's assets and really support one another as we grow in the West Valley.
And Kathy, I'm so glad you went there with the other arts opportunities, because there are so many. And, again, Scottsdale is thought of, right, as a great arts community. And I say this about the West Valley, we're 3,000 square miles, right? And going back to, people want to be within their own areas. So 3,000 square miles, I want to be within my 5-mile radius, right, of that big chunk of space. And so I definitely see that all the communities have those opportunities for residents, whether you're in Wickenburg or you're in Peoria, or obviously Surprise, the Southwest Valley. Tolleson just opened kind of a similar partnership with their school district, the Performing Arts Center in Tolleson. So that's happening all over the West Valley. And I'm glad you're representing all of those voices with me
Well,
too.
and one of the things I like to say about arts and culture is sometimes we look at all the opportunities and we get nervous about, oops, there's competition. But I like to say, have you been to New York City and been on Broadway? Would they ever say, oh, no, we can't have another theater here because there's too many?
Right.
Downtown Scottsdale, too many galleries. Wouldn't want one more. That's not the way arts and culture works. You draw people in who are attracted to that, and they want more, and they want more and more. So
All ships rise in waters.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right. So we are creating this, the West Valley now, as a true destination for entertainment, and I'm really excited to be part of it.
Another thing too, we're talking performing arts, but when I look at public art out there too, it's on every corner now, where that was not necessarily the case in the past. And it's also, included in different public projects too. City of Goodyear, their city hall has beautiful artwork. City of Peoria City Hall.
Actual priority is
Yeah.
art,
Mhm.
and it adds to the experience and how people feel. And sometimes they don't even know what it was that makes them want to come back. But a lot of times it's the art experience that.
You
is
look
really-
at cities globally, the most affluent cities are also the ones that have the richest arts and culture. And I don't think that is a mistake. I can't say which comes first, the chicken or the egg, but it is definitely connected there.
Yeah. And when we think about ourselves too, visiting other places, like I was in Seattle last summer and walked along the water and all the, checked out all the different, art pieces and public art and all of that. And we don't always do that in our own homes, but we take it for granted.
Because it'll always be here.
Because it'll always be here, or we drive by it and we know it's here and it just becomes part of the fabric. But the reality is that is a draw. It is when someone comes out here for spring training or whatever, it is, oh yeah, I want to eat in this area. So,
Yep.
cool stuff.
All adds to the experience.
And more is more.
More is more. More is more. The creative class, we're here.
That's right.
I remember that. So Tony, you're building something. I think when we talked about a year or so ago, it was field hockey. And now it's mushroomed. It's
Yep.
mushroomed into pickleball, all of the above. Tell us a little bit about your project.
Yeah, so I always had a vision to create something here related to sports, and also put on some. One of our leaders got killed in 1984. I would try to put his name here on something like a legacy for him. That was kind of my main goal. And then I started thinking, what can I do? Then my son played field hockey, and then I said, why don't we do something related to sports? And I was like, promote some legacy with it. And then I started thinking, like field hockey, you cannot make money out of it because it's not a growing game yet. And then I start talking to other people, and then now we come up with a really good concept. So we're gonna have 8 full basketball court indoor with the bleachers on one side, and then also with separation from each other, not like all on top of each other. And then also we got a big a place for a concession for people or parents can sit in there. And then now we got a pickleball, and that's gonna be like probably the biggest in Arizona. We can have 32 indoor court. Which we still try to figure out either they're gonna be all indoor or they're gonna be all shaded. So that's kind of what we're debating right now, because a lot of people like some fresh air in there, at least 8 months or 9 months. So then also we're gonna have a championship court in there. So we just try to make something very fun, and then anybody or everybody can come in and have a game. Because it's a huge demand here, even for basketball or volleyball. People cannot find a decent place to have their tournament. So we can probably put 200 teams in there every weekend. And then they can have a tournament from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we still have practice time for other people. So that's what we try to accomplish, like keep the kid, give them a quality place to practice, and then they can be pro in a later day.
So volleyball, pickleball.
Yep.
We're looking at your website here. Field hockey, obviously, that was the origin and how it started. Have you run numbers yet on how many people you think you will draw into this area? Because I'm sure Grant wants to know that.
Yeah, so I think the minimum number, we think it will be 2+ million a year. Yeah, that's like a very low number. Because I don't about Avondale, the small place.
Yes.
They had last year 1 million people.
Oh, the Randall Sports Complex.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we're building something.
And you're gonna have many
Oh,
more opportunities there.
Yeah. And then like on field hockey, so we had a tournament last month, and we didn't even promote it. We just call people we know, and then we had 21 teams, and then the player was from all over the world. We had the best player from Holland and Argentina, and then everybody was here, like probably 20+ Olympians. I can't even imagine
That's
that.
awesome.
And we haven't even started yet. It was just a kind of like fun tournament.
And one of the things that with the West Valley is we're naturally diverse. 56% of our population is minority. And as companies are really incorporating that into their corporate culture and looking for that first before they locate to an area. So I think having, companies or visitors worldwide to have that breadth and be able to push that information out is really important. It definitely shows, I think, a very drastic difference in the perception of what, old Arizona was and what we are today and how we're changing. So.
Yeah, I know a lot of these players didn't love it. They were like, man, this is heaven. Nice weather. We have a nice turf, and then we have good food. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, people from all over the world, like from Pakistan, India, Holland, Argentina, Mexico, Canada. So it was amazing. I cannot even believe that we could have a hockey tournament already like that big. But it's gonna grow from there,
It's exciting.
Yeah, cool. Do we have any questions from our audience yet? Not yet. Okay, well, feel free to put your questions in the chat, and then we will get to them. I have a question though for Grant. So it's cold out today, right? So 2 years from now, can I swim?
100%. The best thing is the 5-acre water, as well as our 3 other pools, are all temperature controlled. So FI is going to be open to the public, as well as the Resort Guest 365. Yes, and the nicest thing is, even in the 120-degree summers, our beach sand that we're putting throughout the property is true white, and it never reaches an ambient temperature over 95 degrees. So it's always cool to your feet. So there's been a lot of innovative ways of actually building this resort with the technologies we've used to always kind of cherish what Arizona gives as far as the climate, and really kind of emphasize that. And that takes it a step further. Las Vegas is known for their daytime activations. Well, that's from March to October. After that, it's shut down over the winter, where we're really open 365. So we won't really see that downflux. And then hospitality in Arizona always kind of shoulders off in the summer, because everyone wants to go to the cooler climate, still LAs of the world and everything else. Where if you're building this water oasis in the heart of Arizona, the staycation that we're all kind of used to kind of just stays predominant even in the heat of the summer. So really excited.
That's cool. That's different. I have seen the sand, so this project is right walking distance from the Westmark office. So I stalk it every day as I drive in.
Yeah.
And so I've been able to watch the growth of it.
No, it's been awesome.
And I'm really impressed that you're gonna be open to the public because, you know, other resorts, if you don't stay there, you're not welcome to utilize their beautiful facilities. But thank you for that. That's
Yes,
great.
yep, no, we open our doors and then, again, it's just more and more, foot traffic within the resort and really just having that premium landmark in Glendale is awesome.
Great.
Kathy, I have a question for you. So dinner and a show, do you guys do any kind of partnerships with the local restaurants or anything like that? Or is that an area of
It's an area of
opportunity?
opportunity for us where we can do that. We do have partnerships with other local arts organizations. We have a huge lobby which can be utilized by community groups or companies if they want to host something there. And we have locally created art in our lobby year round. So it's something that the entire community can utilize to their own benefit.
So I have got a question from Katie Rowe for both Tony and Grant. So when are these projects going to open?
Yes, Vi's gonna have a phased opening starting mid-24. And we'll see, the interesting about Vi Resort is we're actually the general contractor as well as the operator. So we can kind of control our destiny and everything. So we're full speed ahead and just really want to kind of show the world what we got.
Nice.
For us, we're thinking end of 24.
End of 24. So 24 is going to be a big year for us.
Yep.
That's awesome. So I just looking at the synergies along the Loop 101. I mean, how are you partnering with any of the other companies, the other entertainment opportunities? Is that something that Westmark can help organize for you all to, I think just even the networking that you had today before, we went on air.
Oh, this is great. We got 4 brilliant minds up here. And the biggest thing is all 4 of us were talking previously and just what we're doing, whether it's sports, fine arts, and basically just the live entertainment, hospitality. We're bringing people together from all around the world that Tony was alluding to. And that's such a cool common goal to have. And then all in our unique different ways of how we're doing that. But again, all ships are going to be rising in Glendale.
Right.
We were really talking about that, about how, you bring people around a positive experience, maybe a cultural experience, maybe a fun experience, and it brings people together. And we were all talking about how we need that nowadays.
Yeah, I definitely see an opportunity for Westmark bringing together the leaders in entertainment in the West Valley, and I think some more great things will happen. Okay, so there's another question from Grant. How many employees are you looking to hire?
Yeah, we're targeting about 1,800 employees for the entire resort and then we'll probably really start doing a lot of the mass hiring probably 8 months from now.
Gotcha. Okay, because that was the second question. Conference center, talk a little bit about that space. I think that's an area that the West Valley has really been lacking in. And so we're excited to hear how many people.
Gosh, we're ready.
Exactly. So Vi offers a very unique opportunity when it comes to these groups and basically the space we're offering. We have about 50,000 square feet of conventional conference area space. What we offer that no one else can is a 50,000 square foot island that you can rent out.
Yeah.
A private concert deck of over 90,000 square feet, all the beach amenities, our skyboxes and everything else. So we can get really creative with our rooftop pool. So the groups that are really interested are your top sales incentive groups and people looking for an international destination, but don't want to go through all that stress that COVID's kind of had on us and all that impact of international travel. So to stay within the US, to get basically an international destination, that's really a lot of the attraction
That's
we're getting. So yeah, and then as far as just the total group size, we can cater up to easily a group of 1,000 people.
wow,
So
that'll be cool. I'm excited.
It's really exciting.
exciting.
Wheels are spinning.
There you go.
Okay, I feel like there was another one that I missed. We're good? We're good. Awesome. All right. Let's see. I also had another one about so Tony, talk a little bit about how you're phasing in, say, pickleball and things like that. I mean, you're looking at 24 opening up, but is everything opening in 24 or is there a phased approach?
No, I think we probably we'll get everything open in 24.
Wow.
Yeah, because feel like we just have to move it from that place to the south end, because right now I'm kind of in the middle. And then other two buildings, yeah, we should be able to finish by end of next year. You have to go through all the budgeting and then, city planning and everything. So we finalized last week, so we can agree on what we can afford and where we can get. And so now next week, moving forward, and we're gonna go full speed. Yeah, there's a lot of, moving parts, when you're thinking and you're imagining things that now, when you really touch them, like that's totally different. But now we're getting a reality check, and then I think, it's exciting.
So you hit on an area that's interesting, especially during this time. How has the supply chain issues, and just materials in general, how has that affected both of your projects?
Yeah, no or can isn't an option. So we're figuring out a way to get basically to the finish line. Us again, kind of in-house controlling the general contracting, but the 20 and 30-year relationships with a lot of our subcontractors. I mean, we have companies that have worked with us for decades. So that kind of bond and everything else on trying to build the impossible really is making it possible. So that's been great. Obviously, we have our challenges with some of the procured items overseas, but day by day, we're getting there.
Yeah, the same thing here. So we're working with all these big players. They've been in the business for a long time. So that's our goal. And they already have a relation built. So, I mean, that's the key always, when you have that kind of issue.
Yeah, and I think just a plug for the city of Glendale, I think that they've done a really great job in having inspectors on site, and just being available so that, you can move through construction as quickly as possible.
100%. I had the opportunity to go multiple locations throughout the US, and really the reason why we chose the city of Glendale was through partnership and just the creative, and really just their city of Glendale's hungry for this, and you could see that in the preliminary meetings and everything else. So they've been awesome with the on-site inspections and everything else, and really making it happen. So it's been a really good hand-in-hand partnership with the city.
That's awesome. I know you have a great relationship too with the development services and all of that.
Yeah, they're very good. Yeah, city of Glendale, I think, I deal with a lot of different cities, but they are the best. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Oh, nice.
So-
It's great to hear. Bridget, so what else do you know or think of the Cactus League that we typical folks are not aware of? What other secrets are out there that?
Gosh, well, it's America's favorite pastime.
Yeah.
We all know that, and it's a wonderful experience. We have great relationships with our teams, our facilities, our municipalities, the tribal community, MLB. One of the things that a lot of folks don't realize that is really near and dear to my heart is the charitable component that comes with the spring training opportunity. So that's how I kind of started this many, many years ago, my relationship with the Cactus League. Running the nonprofit partner out of the Peoria Sports Complex, the Peoria Diamond Club. There are 5 nonprofit partners. So that's half of our facilities have a designated nonprofit organization. And then there's a charitable component, community engagement activities happening across the league. So we know what we're able to measure. We have thousands of volunteers come out every season, close to 2,000. Thousands of volunteer hours that go into supporting the spring training operation, but also earning potential for these organizations to pass back to primarily youth charities and organizations across the valley. So, over $2 million a year on average goes back into scholarships and grants. And that's what we can measure. And we just entered into a partnership the Cactus League did with the Arizona Board of Regents. And we're going to be promoting FAFSA. We sort of a FAFSA program or campaign to get people to get seniors, Arizona seniors, to fill out their FAFSA, because we're leaving, millions more than that on the table every year. Students are losing out on because they just don't have instruction or resources. And so we're doing a push. We've already given more than 3,000 tickets and had nearly 1,000 students participate in that program. And Arizona Promise, which is a scholarship program, Some of our cities are doing it, but we're also partnering and looking for ways to promote that. And what we're working towards is, again, not just the charitable component, but contributing to education in Arizona and contributing to our future labor force. When you look at what is happening here, and the jobs that are being created and opportunities are being created, we're all working together. You win, we win kind of thing. We want to contribute to that effort and creating a labor force that we can continue to pull from and keep generations at home while welcoming people from all over the world to the West Valley.
You know, it's interesting because I always describe when people, talk about Westmark, or I tell them about Westmark, I always say we're a membership organization. We have members in 3 sectors: government, education, and business. And now I'm saying, and more nonprofits. And then I started looking at the number of nonprofits that we have at Westmark, and it's pretty significant. We have a huge group. And so I mentioned that at a meeting earlier last week. And the person said, well, why is that? Why do you have nonprofits? And I said, they're joining Westmark to interact with the businesses, and the businesses are all very philanthropic, and they want to connect and they want to give back to the communities. So it's definitely a good mix of seeing how, you're working and your members are working with the nonprofit community.
Definitely. And it helps to maintain all of what we're working on and, improve the quality of life in our respective cities and communities. It's wonderful, but that's a huge part of spring training that a lot of folks don't realize.
So Cactus League has the for-profit entity, which is the games, and also the nonprofit, which supports the community. And I would be remiss if I didn't point out that I got involved with the Vista in early 2021 when I was asked to help start a nonprofit. So the Vista operates as part of the community education department out of Dysart, but they recognize that just like the other models, like Del Webb and Chandler Center for the Arts and Higley and the Madison and Phoenix, that they have a nonprofit that helps support and sustain them. So actually, that's why I came on board, is to help form this brand new nonprofit. And we're very excited that through our outreach efforts, we have been able to increase our audience by about 37% this year, because we have our volunteer board members out and about doing things. And by being a nonprofit, that opens us up to be available for grants and to offer corporations tax deductible opportunities to donate to a nonprofit organization. So we're part of that sustainability.
So how, is there an opportunity, and whether or not, I know there's an opportunity, but there's always opportunity, to kind of cross promote one another too? Is there maybe, like a specific area that we should be looking at, an app or something like that? Or I'm always thinking technology, but how do we cross promote one another? Your tickets, how do they then, promote Vive or promote MG Sports, Plex? How do these things maybe all come together? Is that, something that we can take from here?
Well, I just met Tony, but our advisory board got together earlier this year. And one of the things we talked about is how can we partner with Cactus League and let them know when you're in town for 4 days, do there happen to be a great show at the Vista that you might want to catch? Because we're very in close proximity to several ball fields.
Right.
So, and we would be happy to, cross-pollinate, cross-promote. That would be great.
That is a great start. I as a baseball mom, which is, oh my gosh, the hours I logged in these facilities with club ball players. When we would travel, we did a lot of tournaments in Arizona, but when we would travel to other parts of the country supporting these tournaments, a lot of times I would call the chambers or the tourism groups and ask what else is there, because we couldn't afford to do that and take a vacation. So that became our vacation. Pictures. Anyways, but we got to see a lot of great things, and we can create those same experiences here, because especially if you're close to facilities and lodging and parks and recreation and outdoor activities, all of these things work hand in hand. All of these experiences complement one another, and there's absolutely enough to go around. That's what we need to remember.
100%. Ship's nice. Sky's the limit. There you go.
Yes.
So really, that is the While You Were Here
Yeah.
program. So, okay.
When will that start?
So we've actually already started it through the marketing committee, and they're in the process right now of working with all the different cities to inventory those assets. And once we get the inventory, then we're able to, again, load that onto a website with the goal of finding somebody who can create an app and turn it into an app. So it has started. The process of putting it together has started.
That's great.
So I can hurry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Spring.
The main sponsor of it, right? So boom, there we are. No, there's no.
And I really like the opportunity to do something in the summer. You know, you're absolutely, so somebody said, you know, we think about in the summer, everything
Everyone leaves.
goes away. Well,
Right.
maybe we'll stick around.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the goal.
Yeah, but
And
actually,
air conditioned fields too.
Yeah.
Of course.
I just thought, okay, there could be an advertising opportunity to get that off the ground. Okay,
There you go.
we'll figure that out. So one question that I want to ask specifically, well, I guess all of you, but Tony and Grant is, you're building, you're making an investment, a recent investment in this community. What is it about the West Valley? What makes you make that investment here? There's a lot of economic development folks that have tuned in with us today. What information can you give them that they can then pitch to companies and clients that they're looking for to make that same investment? Demographics, household incomes, things like that. I mean, especially what you're doing is, Dubai meets Vegas meets, Disney.
No, it was very simple to me. Just again, moving here in '98, you see all the new developments moving west. So there's no more land in Scottsdale. You got mountains, then you have native land like that. You cannot expand and especially do something to the magnitude of what Vi Resort is going to be anywhere else. But then that was phase one. Again, starting to talk to the city and then their hunger for really having that true, call it Arizona Entertainment Center within Glendale. They were starting to speak my language and everything, and it was a really good relationship. And that's really the main reason. You can see all these new industrial facilities even moving further west outside of the 303. So that's going to do is start putting us as the center of Arizona. And that's 10 years away, guys. That's not way in the future. That's now.
Yeah.
So to be building what we all are, it is super exciting.
Yeah, that's awesome. You talk about the Loop 303. I would be remiss if I didn't mention, obviously, Desert Diamond Casino. They're, West Valley Casino. They are on the Loop 101, but also have plans for a Loop 303 location. So, definitely we're seeing that the numbers, we've been pushing out the numbers for a while, but I feel like people are kind of seeing that and getting that information.
And one further thing is I had the opportunity to speak with like Jerry Colangelo, a visionary of Arizona, and got to take him up into the building. And he said, this is going to be the center, Grant. Like Glendale is going to be the center,
Yeah.
all the things. And he's developing hundreds of thousands of acres, even 40 miles west of us.
Yeah.
So again, he's like, you are in the bread and butter of the area, and that's all four of us in Glendale. So it's awesome to hear kind of remarks from that caliber of a person who's done so much for the valley.
Yeah.
And not to say synergy too many times in one conversation. But
Can't
all
have
the
enough
people
of it.
that are going to work in your resort and work for you are going to want to, live in the community. And the fact that there are these entertainment and sports options here in the West Valley helps us sell houses.
Correct.
And that's good for our cities and good for our schools.
Yeah. And jobs
All
There you go.
and companies. Tony, what makes you invest millions of dollars in this region? I mean, obviously, I know and the personal story it started with, but then you're growing that.
Yeah, because I think the biggest thing, like City of Glendale, they're very, very helpful. I mean, I think if you have not city sport, you couldn't do it. I mean, we have a lot of issues with the road and then some land swap, and there's so many issues, but the city not helping you, there's no way we can make it happen. And then they're so proactive on everything, you can email them, you get answer right away. And I don't think every city does that. I'm not bad mouthing anyone, but it doesn't help, it doesn't happen that way. But they are very special.
So one of the things, the average household income in the West Valley is over 75,000. That's average, right? When you look into specific pockets in the West Valley, Litchfield Park, Verrado and Buckeye, Palm Valley and Goodyear, Straight Community Ranch, Vistancia, Arrowhead Ranch. I think I mentioned Litchfield Park. You look at numbers that go average household incomes above 100,000. That's pretty significant for the West Valley. And I think those numbers, we try to push that out as much as possible, because I think that's also what companies are looking for is if I locate here, somebody going to pay that price, they're going to pay the $2 extra for, I always use that example. I think with inflation, it's now $4 extra for a hamburger, but you get what I'm saying is they want to know. So the end users that you're bringing in, they're going to want to know that, people are going to come to these restaurants. A couple of years ago, I think right before the pandemic, I had a meeting with a bank, and they were talking about the wealth in the West Valley. And I said, oh yeah, there's a lot of money. We don't flash it, but there was a lot of money. And he said, there's a quiet wealth in the West Valley. And so I like to use that term now because it's here. And I think your investments, the things that you're bringing into the community will really show with your numbers, and they'll add to Bridget's numbers and Kathy's numbers and so on. So excited about that.
No, it's awesome. And every time I'm out and about in Scottsdale, I'm asking people where they're at. And it's surprising where it's not just majority is from the West Valley, but there's just a limited supply of attractions and entertainment areas of where they can go. So they'll make the 30-40 minute commute. So again, not only is it on just the consumer and customer, it's also the employees. They're making that daily commute on rush hour. Fortunate for me, I'm against rush hour coming from Scottsdale, but when they see what we're doing, and we're starting to talk about the revenue projections and all their tips and everything, and we're basically parallel with what Scottsdale is doing. It's awesome. So again, it's going to be a tall task. Hiring 1,800 employees in probably the worst hiring market any of us have seen, but I feel very confident that majority of the workforce is living out here, making that long commute where they can have a 5-minute ride to work, especially in a place like Vi. Yeah,
100%. Our population today is 1.8 million residents. And when I started at Westmark in 2016, we were 1.6. So, we're growing. And to your point, these things aren't happening 30 years from now. They're happening 5-10 years from now. Just again, visually seeing what has gone on along this Loop 101 and other parts of the West Valley since I started here has been pretty true.
And sparing people from, a 20, 30, 50 minute commute really has a huge impact on quality.
Yeah, awesome. So as we wrap up in the last couple of minutes, any last minute last parting words, Tony?
Yeah, I think of it's going to be awesome here, and that's all I can say in West Valley. And then also we want to make a change, like people like when they come in, they want to see something very special, and you're making them happy. It doesn't matter, a lot of time price doesn't even count, but happiness does, so that's what I want to be. That's what these guys are doing. It's just so special, and we love to be in the West Valley. It's our town.
Awesome. Kathy?
We have 4 amazing shows coming up in March. Amy Grant's already sold out, but we have 3 others. We have Rodney Marsalis and LPN The Vinyl and Doo-Wop Project. So we don't want to hear, I didn't even know you were there anymore. We don't want to hear that because now you know that we're there, and we would love to see people from across the West Valley come and check us out.
The cool thing that I hear is not necessarily, I didn't know you were there. Oh my God, I have so many competing things that weekend. That's cool, right? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I just want to thank Westmark putting us together, the collaboration we're already having. Again, I really see the West Valley putting all of our heads together and really making a statement for kind of the international stage. So I'm really looking forward to Vi's relationship with all 4 of you, and then many more to come. So exciting.
Yes, thank you so much for having us. And I want to thank all of you too, for investing in the West Valley and just having such a passion for it and what you're doing. And we definitely need to stay connected. I'm excited. I just want to remind everybody that opening day is February 24th.
Play ball.
Play ball.
Awesome.
Thank
know-
you, Citra.
Thank you. Thank you all. And just sitting up here and listening to you, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we could have had this one. Oh my gosh, we don't have enough chairs. So I think for me, for our next step, I would love to maybe after spring training, because I know you're going to be a little bit swamped, is just get maybe a lunch or a happy hour or something and get some more of our entertainment partners all in the same room, having the same conversation and vibe with you all in environment. Maybe on
On
the
the rooftop?
yeah,
There you go.
work it towards that wall.
There you go.
So
The more is more, Gavin.
Hey, there you go.
awesome. Thank you all so much for joining us today. If you caught all of this, awesome. If you have coworkers that have not, you will be receiving the link. This is also on our website. So if you want to share this with others that, in your business world that might need to hear about this, please do. But thanks so much for taking the time to join us and listening and learning from all of us. So we'll see you in 2 months, I think. And I don't know the next hot topic off the top of my head, but it will be pushed out to you. So thanks again.